What is up, everyone? Today I will be showing you some of the best knives for under 500 euros. Now there are other knives you can choose, but I chose only the best ones. For example, like Dopplers, Tiger Tooths, Fade, like everything that looks really nice. That is usually more expensive, but due to the recent, well, not very recent anymore, market crash, the prices have changed a lot, and now these skins are very affordable compared to before. Starting off, Huntsman Fade in factory new condition for only 230 euros. And here as an example, I paired it, since it's more of a mango fade, I paired it with foundation gloves. Now you can do this, but you don't even have to have gloves, because the Huntsman is such a beautiful knife. It's huge, so the highlight is absolutely the blade of the knife, and especially with a fade finish, the blade shines the most. So even if you have default gloves, the gloves pair with the handle of the knife, which makes the blade shine even more. Overall, quite a nice finish for honestly quite a cheap price. Obviously, if you don't like the Huntsman, you can choose different knives, but for this example, I picked the Huntsman because it just looks really nice. Up next, we have the Navaja Doppler Sapphire for just 175 euros. Now I know it's a Navaja, but let's be real, it's a Sapphire. Quite an affordable Sapphire as well. And here, for example, I paired it with Cobalt Skulls gloves, but if Cobalt Skulls are a bit too expensive for you, you can go for Polygon gloves or any blue gloves in general. But Cobalt Skulls pair the best just because of the color tone. The blue color tone is perfect for the Sapphires. Now, I mean, it is a Navaja, but let's be real. It's a Sapphire. Who doesn't like a Sapphire? And you can ignore the right side of the handle of the Navaja because it's not really noticeable, just because the Sapphire dominates the screen. Even though it's a small blade, it still looks pretty nice, and I think it's a really good choice for a nice budget blue combo, because usually you would maybe go for a bright water and Polygon gloves, but now with these prices you can afford even a Sapphire. Even though it's a Navaja, maybe you can go for Shadow Daggers if you don't like Navajas, but overall in general, even Dopplers are quite cheap now, and I will be showing you those just in a moment. Next up, we have the Bayonet Dopplers. Now here specifically, I picked the Doppler Phase 4, which costs only 380 euros. And for example, I paired it with Mogul gloves, just because, you know, the handle is a bit noticeable on bayonets. So I picked the Mogul gloves to pair it nicely with the handle of the blade. Obviously, when you inspect it, it doesn't pair really that well because the handle is green. But when you're looking at it like this, you can see the gray on the handle, like where the blade starts. It pairs really well with the gray of the gloves. I think this is a decent combo. I mean, bayonets are quite nice in general, at least for me. I quite like them. Phase 3 is about the same price range. Phase 2 and Phase 1 I think are a bit more expensive, but still you can go for them. And if you think this is too expensive, wait till you see the other Dopplers. There are lots of options to choose from, so stay tuned for more. Now up next, we have the Shadow Daggers Tiger Tooth in factory new condition for just 100 euros. Here I combine them with Badlands gloves. I don't know, I think Shadow Daggers fit the best when you have hand wraps gloves on. I think it just looks really nice. Obviously the color tone is not perfect with the gold yellow of the Tiger Tooths, but I think the difference in the colors is quite nice here. I don't know. I really like it, but obviously if you want maybe a full yellow loadout, you can go for transport gloves. Transport gloves are a bit yellow. They're not really gold yellow, but you can go for transport gloves. They're also cheap. Badlands gloves, in this case, are also decently cheap. You don't have to go for high wear. And again, you can get a Tiger Tooth for just 100 euros, so why not? They are Shadow Daggers, but come on. Although, if you do not like the Shadow Daggers, I'll be showing you some other Tiger Tooth knives. Next up, we have the Ursus Dopplers. In this case, Phase 4, which costs 260 euros. But, as I said before, Phase 3, 2, and 1 are about the similar price range. You don't really have to worry about that. Generally, Phase 2 and 1 are more expensive, but it's not a huge increase in price, usually for about 20 or to 30 euros. Now, in this case, I paired them with Forest DD gloves. I think they look quite nice, just because the handle of the Ursus is green. Now, I did try to pick racing green gloves, but they're a bit too vibrant green, which kinda negates the effect of the Doppler blade on the Ursus. So I think this is quite a nice touch. And again, you can get a nice Doppler for 260 euros. For example, the Bayonet was 380 euros, so here you get a discount of 120 euros, which is quite nice, to be honest. And Ursus knives in general are quite decent looking, at least for me. I like the design, I like the animations, nothing too crazy here, but it does look clean in my opinion. And again, if you don't like these gloves, I don't know, you can pick any gloves you want. You can go for blue gloves, but I think the green gloves fit better just because it pairs nicely with the handle, and the handle is actually quite big here. Up next, we have the Nomad Tiger Tooth for just 190 euros. Now here I combined the knife with the unhinged gloves, but to be honest, it's quite difficult to combine gloves with Nomad knives, especially the Tiger Tooth, just because the handle has two colors. On the top it's silver and on the bottom it's black, so you know, unhinged gloves do work, but the blade of the Nomad is quite small, so you know, I don't know, you don't even have to use gloves, by the way. It looks decent, but if you really want gloves, I do recommend unhinged gloves. They're quite cheap and the knife itself is quite cheap, so you can have a nice combo for like 250 euros, something like that. Unhinged gloves are quite cheap, maybe 50-60 euros, so I think it's a decent combo. It's not too bad, and Nomad knives have nice animations and nice design overall, so yeah, it's a really good budget combo. Up next, we have Bowie Dopplers. Now in this case it's phase 2, which costs around 280 euros. Phase 4 is 260 euros. And in this case, I combined the knife with yellow banded gloves. I know the blade is pink, but take a look at the handle. The Bowie has these accents on the handle. In this example, the accents are gold and black, which fits perfectly with the yellow banded gloves. Now I know the blade is pink, but this is just my preference. If you want more pink, you can pick pink gloves. In that case, you would have to go for either Imperial blades or Wise gloves, which are both quite expensive. So I think this is a decent combo in my opinion. It's unique and it looks pretty nice. I mean, you let the blade shine this way. It's really nicely. It's creative, so there's plus for that as well. And yeah, I think it's a really good combo. Now, if you go for Doppler 4 or Doppler 3, the accents on the handle will be different, so keep that in mind, and then you will have to choose some other gloves. Up next, we have Shadow Daggers Ruby for 350 euros. Now, they are a bit more expensive, but it's a ruby. So if you ever wanted a ruby, now is your chance. I think this is a really good choice, and in this case I paired them with floater gloves. Now it's really difficult to pair these knives because Shadow Daggers have different accents on the handles, and in this case it's kind of a bronze gold, I don't know, it's bronze brown, and there are no such gloves. It's really hard to pair it, so I picked the slaughter gloves in this case. I think they fit the best just because they fit nicely with the blade of the Shadow Daggers as well, so I think it's a decent combo. Now, as I said, Shadow Daggers are a bit more expensive, but it's a ruby knife, so I think the trade-off is well worth it. And as you can see in the shadows, it fits even better. But there's that. And overall, Shadow Daggers are quite underrated, and they are a unique knife. Up next, we have Skeleton Tiger Tooth for 320 euros. Now, usually these knives were like double the price. Like Skeleton was twice as expensive, I'm pretty sure, before. In this case, I paired them with Omega gloves, but the Omega gloves are a bit expensive. But in this case, they fit the best, so that's why I chose them. I think they fit the best, but obviously you can go for default gloves as well. You don't really see the handle of the Skeleton, which is where the black kinda leather is. You don't really see that, so you can go for default gloves as well, which makes the knife stand out even more. It's quite a nice, and again, you're getting a really good knife, a really good finish for 320 euros. I think it's worth it, but if you can't afford it, you saw the previous Tiger Tooths, you can go for Nomad, you can go for Shadow Daggers, you know, whatever you can afford, you should go for if you like Tiger Tooths. And lastly, we have Skeleton Marble Fade for 380 euros. This is almost the most expensive knife on this list for now. I think the Bayonet was about the same price, the Bayonet Doppler. And in this case, obviously I paired it with Marble Fade gloves, but you don't really need gloves. Marble Fade gloves, not that expensive, but they're expensive enough to make this combo not worth it, not budget anymore. So I think you should just go for the knife and pick default gloves. I think that's your best choice. Or if you have a preference for a single color, you should go for that color. And again, this Marble Fade used to be a lot more expensive, so I think if you like Marble Fades, this is a really good choice, a solid choice. But if you don't have money for it, you can go for other knives, maybe a Nomad, Bowie, Huntsman, anything you like. But I still think this is a pretty decent combo. It's a bit not quite as budget, but I think it's worth it if you like it. So those are all of the knives for today. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next. What I have in plan is for the next video, I will be showing you some of the best budget combos. So that means knife and gloves together for maybe under 500 euros as well. You saw some examples here, or if you want to see other budget knives, I can show you them as well. For example, Crimson Webs, I don't know, Damascus Steel, like more budgety combos, more budgety finishes, I can show you them as well. So just comment down below and let me know. That will be all for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.